Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Two Generations, One Mic podcast, where we like to share stories, lessons, laughs, and life. My name is Ethan.
And I am his dad, Dwayne, and we are super excited about this episode 1.
Thank you all so much for being here with us today. Make sure you check us out on all of our social medias on YouTube, TikTok, and check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you all so much for being here for the first episode. Let's get right into it. To our first episode of the Two Generations, One Mic podcast. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in, taking the time out of your day to listen to us yap about nonsense and hopefully something you'll care about. Make sure you don't forget to check our bio for all of our info on our social medias, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm here with my dad, of course, but I'm Ethan. I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a second. But first, I just want to thank you all again so much for being here for our first episode. We're so excited about this little project that we're doing together, and we hope that you guys all enjoy it just as much as we do. We're not here to gain any likes or subs, we're not asking you guys to do any of that, but it would be great. We're just here to spend more time together, just share a little bit of inspiration on the internet, just have some good talks, spread some good into the world. But, Dad, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Ethan, I'm so proud of you, and I really appreciate you wanting to do this project with me. Ever since you did your podcast a couple years ago, and we can talk about that later, I've been excited for you. I think that you have a good future in this. Whether it's popular, whether we reach 10 people or 10,000, it doesn't really matter. I watch a lot of internet, as I'm sure everybody does, YouTube shorts and TikTok.
Everybody has phones nowadays. Everybody's looking at their screens.
Yeah, it's just something to do to pass the time. It looks like everybody and their mother's doing reaction videos, and I thought, we could do that. And of all the videos I see of just regular people doing reaction videos or whatever, I've never seen a father and son one.
Right.
There may be some, but I haven't seen any.
Right.
And so I thought it a good kind of niche, for us to do. So.
Well, I do just want to say right off the bat to everybody listening at home, I know it may sound a little funky with our microphones, and it sounds like he's coming through maybe a little staticky, but I'm sure it'll sound fine coming through this way. But I just want to let everybody know that in the future, as the weeks go on, we are going to get better equipment, better mics. Pretty soon here, we will have video on all the podcasts so you guys can see both of us while we're talking in the future. But just want to let everybody know we have a lot of good plans for show ideas, topics to talk about. If anybody wants us to talk about anything in specific, just throw it down in the comments. We'd love to get suggestions. But yeah, in the future, we're definitely looking to upgrade the show. So we appreciate you guys all for being here for the first episode, just listening to us talk. Also, during the episodes, if you hear us mentioning something in one of our topics, or maybe you hear me mention my girlfriend or something in our lives, I will pop up pictures for the people that are watching us on YouTube right now. I'll pop up pictures so you guys can see more about what we're talking about, or little videos sometimes whenever we're talking about certain topics, so you guys can get a better understanding of what we're talking about. But just want to get all that out of the way so you guys know, what we got going on.
Yeah, we're going to be touching on a lot of different subjects that we find interesting.
Yeah.
Just to give a little background on Ethan and I, we were close, very close, as he was growing up, I think.
Yeah.
You and your sister Gabby, I don't know if we mentioned her yet, but she's a year older, and you just turned 18.
Right.
And we graduated from the same high school that I went to. It's a little small town there in Texas, and we were both very proud to be from that town.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that you got to grow up in that town, even though its heyday was probably years ago. They're trying to rebuild it. But Ethan and I were very close, as close as a father and son could be. We can throw some pictures up and show you some of the things that we've done over the years. We get on the phone. This kind of broadcast right now, with me on the phone and you on your microphone, kind of lends itself to what we do anyway every day or two.
Right.
We try to talk at least, once a day, once or twice a day, maybe, every other day. So what we had discussed in doing this podcast was just kind of talk and catch up with each other, and then touch on some current events, some pop culture, music, things that are going on in America
all types
that
of stuff.
interest, that concern us, or that we're excited about, and just kind of go from there. And it will grow as all things do. So
right.
It will grow and it will get better. But in the meantime, you live in Texas.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just to give some people some perspective, I live in Texas. Me and my girlfriend are both currently attending college here. It's our freshman year.
And I live in Virginia. I work at a dinner theater here in Virginia for the past 6 years. And so this is about the only way that Ethan and I can catch up, and except when we get to visit, on holidays or birthdays.
But this is how we talk, catch up all the time. So now we're going to record it and broadcast it on the internet.
Years ago, you did a podcast.
Yep, that's right. The Inside the Mind of a Teenager, that's right.
Right, and you did a couple of episodes that I think on your own, and then you had me on as your first guest.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun, and I figured we could kind of follow the same format.
For anybody that doesn't know, I'll go ahead and throw you up a little video or a little clip real quick of my old podcast, just so you guys can get an idea. But
years ago.
Yep, almost a 5.
Almost 500. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, me and my dad, I'll throw you guys a clip of whenever my dad was on, but me and my dad have a little experience in this because he did come on my old podcast whenever I had one a while back, just one time. But so we got our foot in the water with the whole podcasting thing. But we wanted to have one, me and him, every week, throw up an episode and have some good talking time.
Yeah, well, I don't know if a lot of people know, but the people that are going to be listening to this probably know, there'll be family and friends, that I was a radio DJ for a long time. In fact, I started when I was 14 years old there in Dangerfield, Texas.
Wow.
And it was a little AM station called KEGG. It's now defunct. It's gone. It was a little AM station, and I think it was like 3,000 watts. It barely made it into town on cable.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I started my radio career. And I was 14 years old, had a really good career in that, worked my way up to finally getting into mid-market over in Shreveport, worked for some of the best radio stations in East Texas, really.
Wow.
I'm so proud of that time. Of course, radio's changed a lot, but so I have some broadcasting experience.
Right.
I went later into acting over at like Six Flags Over Texas, and then I worked in Wisconsin at a theater, and now finally back down here in Virginia.
You've been all over the place for work. You went to California for work, to work on the Queen Mary. We'll probably talk about that in a future episode, about my dad's time on there.
Yeah, and I met so many great friends, not just in the radio broadcasting industry, but in theater, in my college, right at the college right outside of our town there in East Texas.
Yeah.
Northeast Texas Community College was a great time to be at that college because I studied under the direction of legendary Douglas Hoppick. So shout out to Papa, Mr. Hoppick, if you're listening.
Yes, sir.
And your mother. I met your mother there.
Yes, that's where him and my mom met back in 2004.
Yeah, 2004, and then Gabby came along soon thereafter, your sister, and then you were a year later, and we all stuck together as a family, even though your mother and I split up. But we did meet there, and we were in several plays together. So she's got theater experience. Then later, when you guys were growing up, you were in plays. It's a Wonderful Life, and you were in a play with your girlfriend, Alyssa.
Recently in high school, yep, we were in the Wizard of Wonderland. It's a mix between Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. It was pretty fun. I got to play the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, and you were good. I just, from what I saw, the videos and the pictures, it looked like you had a good time.
Well, yeah, and that's really great for you. I mean, that's how, you get to see us. It's over social media and stuff, is like seeing me post on Instagram, seeing Mom post us on Facebook, seeing all the pictures and stuff. I mean, that must be really... Go ahead.
Well, that's how I keep up with you guys. And that's what I really like about social media. I know there's a lot of evils about social media. There's a lot of downfalls to it, downsides to it. But what I use it for is to keep up with you guys. And I love seeing when something good happens to you, holidays and birthdays, or when you guys get to go out and do special things. or like when you're down here visiting me, then your mom can see pictures of that, you know. So,
right.
And not your mom, but all of our family is pretty tight.
Oh, yeah.
From my mom's side of the family, your mother's side of the family, we're all pretty tight, and so we like to keep up with each other on social media, and that's how we use it.
Right.
Now, I do watch like broadcasts. I especially like it. I know you do too. Is Joe Rogan?
Oh yeah. We'll be talking about Joe Rogan here later in the episode, actually.
Yeah, I really enjoy his like lengthy format.
Oh yeah. I love sitting and listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. He's the best.
He touches on so many different subjects, you know, and that's what I.
And I like the UFC, and he's one of the side announcers at UFC.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, and I liked him ever since because you know he talks about Bigfoot and cryptids and UFOs and you know.
He's a big conspiracy guy.
I dig on that kind of stuff. But Ethan, I know that you've been with your girlfriend for a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, go ahead and introduce her to everybody. My girlfriend Alyssa. We've been friends for about 4.5 years now. We've been going out for almost 2 years and 3 months. Pretty long time, longest I've ever been with somebody in my 18 years of life. Yeah, but she's the greatest person in my life. She's the best. I've always loved Alyssa. She's the greatest. I'll just flash you guys some pictures of me and her. She's the best.
We're best friends so for a long time, right?
Yeah, we were friends in high school for about 2.5 years before we ever ended up dating or anything. But
she was friends with Gabby first, your sister.
Yeah, her and my sister Gabby. And Alyssa is the same age as Gabby. Alyssa's a year older than me. So they were best friends and used to spend the night with each other. Yeah, just ever since Gabby started hanging out with Alyssa when we were all little, I was like, man, she's just so beautiful, so pretty. So I've always been like, you know, drawn to her, and I couldn't believe now 10 years later I'm actually dating her.
Well, she's very pretty, that's for sure, and she's a super intelligent person, and she's got a lot going on for her, so I'm real proud that you guys are still together. I hope you get married in 70-year married. Dorinda, my wife.
I was going to ask you about, go ahead and tell them about Dorinda and you.
Well, we met, you know, back in the 7th grade. I'm pretty sure I remember the first, it was 7th or 8th grade.
Met in the 7th grade, by the way, and that's the same, they went to the same junior high I went to about 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. We met in junior high. I'll never forget the first time I saw her eyes, and she still has beautiful eyes just like that, and she still looks the same to me as when we first met. We didn't start dating until later in the 80s when we were both at the end of our high school. Then we split up and we graduated, and after 30 years of kind of just being friends but never really seeing each other, we caught back up, and that was 10 years ago, so it'll be 10 years this October 2025.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we've been seeing each other for quite some time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That means that she was there since you guys were 7 and 8 years old.
Let's see, so that would have been like, just so everybody can get an idea, I'm going to flash you a picture of this. Whenever this picture was taken, it was around the time Dorinda came back into my dad's life and stuff. The very first time I met Dorinda. Dorinda's not in this picture, but this is around the same time. That's how little we were whenever, you know, Dorinda came back in. They've been together ever since. That's as long as I can remember for now.
Yes, is that the picture with Bigfoot?
Yeah, oh yeah. He was the prop manager and built all the props for Greystone Manor in Longview, Texas, and he actually built that Sasquatch.
I did. I was very proud of that. Dorinda's probably the one taking the picture. And by the way, the little girl that's with us, her name is Carly Mood. So Dorinda, you know, was homeschooling her, and so that's why we all became friends.
Shout out to Carly if you're out there listening.
Yeah, shout out to Carly. Yo, yo, yo. So anyway, that was our little family unit. While we're talking about our time growing up in our little small town of Dangerfield, Texas, a lot of people know Dangerfield Tigers. Ethan and I were lucky enough to go to the same junior high, and then we graduated the same high school, Dangerfield High School.
Not at the same time, of course.
Yeah, during my time, in the 80s, the best football team in the history of the state of Texas. If you were to ask anybody that knows anything about high school football in Texas, Dangerfield would come up as the number 1 or 2. They're certainly in the top.
We three-peated in state championships twice. I know for a fact they three-peated in 2009, 2010, 2011. And I mean, I was a child then, but I mean, I lived there and I didn't even know it.
I know you enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I actually, during the football games, I used to run the student section whenever we would have home games and have all the students come out to the games, and we'd do little themes, and I'd always try to get everybody, like the student-wise, more enthused about the football games. That way, we could go out there and cheer on our classmates, and hopefully they can go out there and win a state championship. And we got close. We got pretty dang close.
You got to run the Dangerfield Tiger flag up and down the field, right?
Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and show you. I'll go ahead and show everybody a video of that. I used to run the flag down the sidelines whenever we would score a touchdown. It was pretty special. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to be a Dangerfield Tiger during football season.
And I know you were there with your girlfriend a lot at the games.
Oh
I
yeah.
know that Gabby, your sister, played flute in the band,
and she was a cheerleader.
So
very big thing in Dangerfield.
Man, it is a very big tradition, especially in Dangerfield. Every high school in Texas thinks their high school is the best, but we can actually say we were the best at one time, and we've always kept up that tradition.
For everybody at home, I just want to go ahead and let's get into our first topic I got here. If you want to go ahead and dive into that.
Sure. What do you got?
So I wanted to first of all, I wanted to ask you. So I'm sure everybody already knows about this, but just to give everybody a little background, just in case you don't know what we're talking about. Currently, about Northeast, there has been a lot of drone sightings. I will look it up and flash it on the screen right now of how many sightings there have been, but there have been a lot of sightings. I'll show you guys some videos here in a second of that. But there are these sightings of these drones on the northeastern part of the United States, and nobody knows what they are. Nobody knows if it's a commercial thing, if it's a personal use thing, if it's our government, if it's another government. So I just kind of want to ask you, have you seen any of this stuff? What are your thoughts on all this stuff with the drones that are going on?
It's just a weird time. It's been a weird couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. And with technology getting so much more, advanced every year.
It's scary, but it's just a freaky time to be alive. And I watch a lot of YouTube shorts and TikToks that'll blow your mind and things like that, and it's just fascinating to me. And lately, it's been crazy. What do you think about it? I mean, I don't know what they are. Nobody's really saying what they are.
Yeah, that's my whole. I don't really have a problem with the drones necessarily. I mean, I'm sure they are a problem and they could be a problem. I'm not saying that they are a problem. I'm just saying what drives my gears to want to know about it is the fact that there was this whole meeting at Congress about it, and they talked for hours about nothing. A guy came out of the meeting and a news reporter asked him. She was like, "Hey, what was the meeting about?" We know it was about the drones, but what was talked about? What was discussed? Did you get anything? And the guy was just like, "Nothing." They talked about nothing for 2 hours. They said they know nothing. They don't know what it is. They don't know if it's ours. They don't know if it's theirs. They don't know whose it is, where it's from. And the thing that makes me mad about it is how many billions of dollars do we spend on intelligence a year, and we don't even know what these drones are?
Somebody knows.
I agree with that. I think that they know, and they just don't want to scare. Not like I'm trying to scare people, but I think that they know what it might be, and they just don't want to send out a little panic.
I just think that the governments around the world, whether it be ours or they have the technology that's far advanced than what we see.
Oh yeah.
So,
I mean, and they don't got to show us. They don't got to show us everything they have. How do we know everything they have?
No, I mean, if it comes to national security, I want them to have some hidden, things, but there has to be some accountability, and we need to know. It's more frightening for people to not know what it is. If they would just tell us, it's the same thing with some of the other government programs that I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's way worse to be in the dark. Nobody likes to be in the dark about anything.
Okay, let me ask you this, then, Ethan, to play devil's advocate.
Let me fire away.
Well, because it leads into so many conspiracy theories. There are reports now, just over the last couple of days, of this weird fog.
Oh, really?
All over the world that lasts for days that people are not used to, and it's a weird kind of almost looks like soot, and it smells funny, and people are reporting that they're having headaches, and they're not feeling, and it's a weird that lasts for 4, 5, 6 days.
Oh wow! I'll have to do some research on it. We'll talk about it. We'll have to definitely do an in-depth talk about that next week. But yeah, let me know what you got.
It's weird because is connected? I mean, because it just so happens that it's happening, around all these UAPs, as they call it.
Right.
And whatever.
Yeah, and these drones, a lot of these drones have been spotted over air bases in New Jersey. New Jersey is where the most spottings have been. There's been a lot of spottings over an air base in New Jersey. They've been spotted over our new president Donald Trump's golf course. They've been spotted over other air bases across the United States. It's a scary thing. From the outside looking in, it just all them telling us nothing does is make me make assumptions, and I got to figure it out myself, and that doesn't help anybody,
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just a weird subject right now.
Well, and another thing is, for a minute, I considered that it might have been fake, because there's also this whole thing about the Blue Book Project and the
Blue Beam.
Oh, Blue Beam, that's right, yeah, Blue Beam. I thought it was fake until I got on TikTok one day, and of course this is not the best place to get your information. The person who inspires this podcast for me personally, and another big conspiracy theorist out there, is Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan actually posted on his personal TikTok a video from his backyard of one of these drones, but people are also considering these drones could be otherworldly beings. Like, Joe Rogan considers them like it could be an alien or something. Like, I'll go ahead and pop the video up for you guys right now on your screen if you're on YouTube. Joe Rogan saw something pretty freaky. It was something in the air, and
he lives near Austin, Texas.
Yeah, right. And, I wouldn't consider anything that he would post on his own thing with a video he took on his phone. I wouldn't consider it to be fake, but you guys can judge for yourself watching the video. But you can see this little blue light or some kind of light in the sky, and then it kind of just dodges around, and then it points a light, and then it just shoots off into the sky. And, Dad, I'll send you the video so you can see it later. But, it's pretty freaky because there's two things that I thought from this. Oh my gosh, it's actually real. Like, Joe Rogan posted this, it's actually happening out there. People are actually seeing this. And the second thing I thought is, this actually could be Project Bluebeam, because think about how much influence Joe Rogan's podcast had. When Donald Trump went on his podcast, how many people watched that in the first 3 days? And then if you put Joe Rogan talking about this on TikTok, how many people are going to see that, share that, oh my gosh, look what Joe Rogan saw in the sky. So, there's many ways you can go. It's pretty scary. I wish we weren't in the dark about it, but like I said, with being in the dark, I'm trying to figure it out on my own, and, my head likes to run wild, but that's my thoughts on it.
Whether you're 56 years old or 18 years old, it's got to be concerning to you, and it's just one of the weird things that's happening, right? I'm glad we kind of touched on that, and that's a pretty timely subject, and there are a lot of different things that wrap around that. When you start going down those rabbit holes, it could be anything.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It could be
never know.
Technology. It could be other countries. It could be our own. That's why there's got to be some kind of accountability, and somebody needs to know something somewhere along the line and get reported on.
To touch on the drones, just my last little bit, and kind of segue this into our next topic, I wanted to say that I also saw that Donald Trump did comment on the fact, or he did comment on the drones or whatever. I'll go ahead and show you guys that video as well. And he said that he's not worried about it.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports?
The government knows what is happening. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster.
Trump said that he also has no idea what they are. Nobody's filled him in. They briefed him. I saw in that video that they briefed him about it, but nobody knows where they're from apparently, and I also think that possibly I'm sure that possibly Trump could know as well, and he just wants to keep it hidden. But I don't blame him if he doesn't want to cause a panic. But Trump, the new administration has seen the problem, and they know that they need to do something about that in the next coming month, coming into office soon.
I agree. That's a nice way to wrap things up. I just believe that somebody knows something.
Oh yeah.
Somebody knows, and I'm sure we'll find out eventually. It all comes out in the wash, as they say. Well, let me ask you this: as an older teen going to college, a young man, your overall feeling of the election and the inauguration coming up and the changeover in administration, and Does it interest you? Are you learning anything?
Well, to give everybody a little perspective, I turned 18 on November 19th, so I actually missed out on this election by like 2 weeks. I was still 17 whenever election day was, or whenever, the early voting closed, whatever it was. So I actually missed out on this election. Of course, we're not going to say, I voted for this guy, you should have voted for this guy, screw the other person. I think that both candidates were good candidates. I liked Kamala. I think she was, a great speaker. She could have been, a good leader. But, Trump is a very strong leader. He's already been in office before. I'm excited for him to be back in office because, in his past 4 years, back in 2016 to 2020, the United States was doing successful. We were, out on the up and up, and everything was going great. And I'm really excited about Trump's his cabinet of people. Isn't that what it is? Yeah, I'm really excited about this new cabinet that he has. He's really put together a great team of leaders and good people that'll, have better focus on the problems at hand. It's not like everybody in the past hasn't been good, or the people at their positions were bad before. Just, I know this is obviously the most obvious one and most popular one, but Elon Musk coming in and they're making a new position for him, the government efficiency. He's going to be head of that. I think that's amazing. Elon Musk is such a smart guy. He knows, he's an efficient man. Why not put him in charge of government efficiency? And, he's doing great stuff. He's doing great stuff at SpaceX and all of his companies. And, we use his stuff every day and don't even notice. But they've got a lot of good stuff going on. And Robert F. Kennedy, who was also running for president, I was trying to keep up with the election, and I actually liked Robert F. Kennedy for president. He was a great guy. He's a smart man. He took over the health. He's going to be taking over the health for our government. And the person over the last 4 years, I will say, has not been very good and was not meant for the position. And Robert F. Kennedy really cares about the chemicals and all the little things that they added into ingredients over the past 30 years and all the stuff that's, gone on in health and drinks and food and medicine. He's going to be a good leader for that as well. And he wants to make America healthy again, as he says, and I'm just really excited for the future. And it's going to be a great next 4 years. I'll be going through college and going to try and be a realtor and, become a lawyer. And I just hope that Trump can get all of the economic things back in line, and hopefully all the things that he does want to do doesn't end up costing us too much, and we'll be able to still survive.
That's interesting to me because we never talk politics really.
Us hardly either. Me and Alyssa. That's only happens about once every 4 years. So
Yeah, I'm really glad that you were optimistic, and I agree wholeheartedly with you 100% that there are some people in place, hopefully in the cabinet that he gets in place that will make America a better place to live for you in the future, for your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I got to tell you, I was pretty concerned for a while and kind of felt sorry that I had brought kids into a world that needed so much help. But It's always going to need. We never can really put all of our eggs in one basket, like saying we like a certain politician but you have to choose at some point. You got to stand for something, or you'll fall for anything, as they say. And so you stand for something, and you get proved right, all for the better. And if you get proved wrong, you change your opinion.
Yeah. Right.
I just wanted to talk to you about that. That was one of my notes that I jotted down for our first episode.
Absolutely, yeah. And Dad, so just so everybody out there knows, so this is the 2 Generation One Mic podcast, of course. What generation actually are you? And I'll tell them what I am.
Well, I'm Gen X.
So he's generation. I think so, and then I believe I'm Gen Z. I'd say honestly, we made this a 2 Generations One Mic podcast. We don't even really know. I believe I'm a Gen Z.
I think are you a Gen Z or are you a millennial?
Or is millennial? I think millennial is that. We're gonna have to do some research and get back to you guys in the next episode. We don't even know what generation we are. 2 Generations One Mic podcast.
I think you're Gen Z.
Yeah,
I think
I think.
I think I'm right at the tail end of Gen X. Right at the beginning of. I'm really not sure. I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s, whatever that is. I was born in 68. So
well, anybody listening out there, you now know our generation's views on the current government, and maybe not at such a wide scale. Of course, I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions out there. Of course, especially among my generation, who, I mean, they love to deal their hand into politics, and everybody in my generation, other than the younger people, of course, is growing up now, and it's time to, everybody wants to pitch in use their voice,
That's right. It's time to be a good global citizen, and I'm glad you're learning that lesson, now, and maybe you'll do, and I hope that you'll do, your generation will do a lot better than my generation in setting things right.
Right.
I'm still proud of what we've accomplished.
And you guys did a lot of stuff, too.
I've had a great, time and great career, and it was a great time to grow up in the 70s and 80s, but, my mom was born in 44, your grandma.
Shout out Granny Joe, if you're out there listening, we love you, Granny Joe. Everybody send your loves and prayers out to Granny Joe.
So she grew up in the 60s, the 50s. If you ask, anybody of her era, it was a great time to grow up. You can look at any documentary, and after we got back from World War II, it was a boom, and that's why they call it the baby boom.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she was kind of like a kids of the baby boom was her generation. And, I didn't really know if I was Gen Z, but I mean Gen X.
Well, next episode we will open up the episode and let you guys know our real generations. I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows all the generations and all the years, and these guys are like these freaking idiots. They don't even know what generation they are. And we'll get back to you guys on that. We will get you guys real information next week.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I've had a good time. Do you want to wrap things up?
Well, let me before we wrap up, let me get one more little topic out of you. I just want to open it or finish it off on something light. Let me ask you about your dog Pogo. So, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we were going to finish it off. We were going to talk about our pets a little bit. So, let me just say, me and my girlfriend recently bought about a month ago now a little mini schnauzer. She's cute. I'll show you guys a bunch of pictures and videos of her right now. She's really cute. Her name is Sylvia. And, we're just trying to take care of her. We live at college right now, so it's a little hard having her in the dorms, but once she gets big enough, we'll be able to take her outside. She's so sweet. She's a great pup. I mean, just so you guys can get to know us a little more, we love animals. I'm a big dog person. I got 2 cats back home, Biscuits and Willow, so we love animals. But, Dad, go ahead and tell them about Pogo.
Are you going to put a picture up of Sylvia?
Yeah, I'll show them pictures of Sylvia, and then I'll show them pictures of Pogo, too.
Our little dog was Dorinda's dog when she just got him when I reacquainted when we got so let me try it again.
No, you got it. Back in, so if everybody remembers from earlier, whenever they reacquainted in 2015, whenever they got back up and stuff, she had got him like right around that time.
Right. Got him. He's almost 10 years old now. And, a Shih Tzu and Chihuahua, so we call him Chihuahua. And we call him Pogo because he's, small as a little Chihuahua.
Yeah.
But he can, all the way up to your shoulders.
Dad, I have to get you to send me a video I can put up there. I'm going to show you guys. Whenever I was little, we used to love playing around with Pogo because his name is Pogo for a reason. And, man, could he jump. Whenever he was, 1, 2, 3 years old, he would jump up, right at my face, right at my shoulder. I was, maybe 3.5 foot tall. He would jump right up to my face off the ground. It's crazy.
He's what Dorinda would call an emotional support dog, for her.
Yeah.
He's just really cool. He's her little shadow.
How old is he? How old is Pogo now?
Well, like you said, almost 10 years.
Oh, wow, almost 10 years. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Wow. Well, he's such a sweet little guy. But we just wanted to... Go ahead.
He's kind of tripping out because we just moved to a new house this week.
That's right. Everybody, congratulations to my dad. They just moved out of their old house and into a new one on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a long, hard week of moving, and so he's still freaking out and getting used to the new surroundings. That's what's happening in my life this week.
As of this week.
How it is to move furniture.
Oh, yeah. I think we've lived in 9 different houses since we moved to Texas. We moved to Texas when I was 3, everybody, so we've lived in 9 different houses, or 8 different houses, something like that, in the past 15 years.
Yeah, but the house has got progressively better and better. So,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I like that second house a little bit the most, but, leave it up for debate.
Well, at least you were surrounded by your loving mother, and you had your sister to, knock around with.
For everybody out there listening, we have so many plans for this whole podcast thing, man. We got 52 episodes coming. We're going to do 50. There's 52 weeks in the year, so every Friday, make sure you check your YouTube and TikTok. Check us out. We'll be having a new episode every Friday. Hopefully you're listening to this on Friday right now, but Yeah, that'd be awesome. We got plans for me to get my girlfriend on and my dad to get his wife on the same show. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy that. Let us know if you guys want to see that. And
I'd love to have your mom, Patty, on to see what she thinks about.
see, that'd be awesome. Like, yeah, we could do all types of. I got friends from college that would love to come. You know, maybe they're from different generation or other people that want to come in. So, guys, I'm telling you, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you guys can see as soon as the newest episodes come up.
Yeah, we'll have a few weird things to talk about and what's going on in America, and because we got some cool things coming up personally.
Oh yeah.
This year between you and me, and so anyway, it's been fun. We'll talk.
Thank you, Dad, so much for I mean, of course, this is our show. I'm not saying thank you for being here, but it's a great first episode. Thank you to everybody out there so much for listening to our first episode. If you're still here listening, we thank you all so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe and check us out on all of our social medias on YouTube and TikTok, and hope you enjoy. We'll be back next week, next Friday.